Why do I keep second guessing myself? I used to ask myself that question all the time. You've made a decision only to immediately wonder if it was the right one or the wrong one. Maybe you said yes and then questioned yourself. Maybe you said no and then felt guilty. That's a prominent one, right? Maybe you spent days, weeks, or months analyzing a decision from all different aspects, hoping that eventually certainty would come. And yet, really, when we're making decisions, it's rarely 100% yes, done without any second conversation for yourself. Most people think they second best themselves because they need more information, they need more time, they need to be less emotional. Well, all choices are emotional. That's who we are as walking, talking human beings. But what if the real issue was not the second guessing, but the lack of self trust you already possess? Because those are two very different things. So I want to explore why so many of us can typically struggle to trust ourselves. Hi, I'm Laura Clark, Purpose and Vision Alchemist, and this is another Mug Musing. This is the 1111 mug, which is perfect for today because that's when everything is in divine alignment. These musings are a place where you can pause long enough to see something. So wisdom isn't just learned, it's lived. This is what I've done for over 30 decades, helping purpose driven women strengthen their own self trust to reconnect with themselves and what really matters most, and create lives that feel more aligned, meaning fulfilling. So I think many people assume confidence comes first, that one day you'll feel completely certain, uh, clear, and confident, and then you'll make the right decisions. Personally, and in my experience with working with other purpose-driven women, it's rarely how life works. Most of our meaningful decisions don't come with guarantees, come with uncertainty. And that's why we struggle. We want proof, we want reassurance, comfort and security and safety. We want somebody else to tell us we're doing the right thing. Right? We have to make so many decisions in a day that it would just be nice if somebody else would tell us what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and that it's the exact right thing. Doesn't happen that way. So, one of the things we tend to do is we ask and ask and ask again, and we gather opinions and we research and we compare and we seek personal validation outside of us. And before long, we are more connected to everybody else's opinion than we are to our own. See, there's a cost of outsourcing your own wisdom. Absolutely nothing wrong with seeking guidance. Mentors matter, teachers matter, trusted friends matter, wise counsel matters. That's not the same thing that I'm talking about. When every decision requires external information, something important is happening. You are slowly stopping the trust factor in yourself. You begin assuming everybody else knows what's better, and everyone else sees things more clearly and has access to answers somehow you don't possess. But really, your experience and your self understanding is what truly matters, is what often guides you to the right decision. Many times the answers you're looking for aren't missing, they're just being drowned out by all of the noise. So I'd love to hear from you. Post in the comments. Do you tend to second guess yourself after making a decision or before making a decision? Are you somebody who makes decisions quickly and easily and then goes, oh, what if? Or are you somebody that just keeps gathering information, procrastinates? You don't trust your instincts, so you don't. There's not a right or wrong answer. I just would love to hear from you because I've experienced both of those things in my life. See, here's self trust is actually a relationship. And as in any and all relationships, it doesn't develop overnight. It develops through that experience I just was talking about, through consistency, through connection, through showing up, keeping your word to yourself. And that's self-trust, right? You do it with everybody else that's important in your life. It's time that we reclaim this for ourselves. You build the trust by listening and honoring and leaning into who you are and continuing to show up for yourself the same way you show up for your best friend, even when things don't go as planned. Because what's really true, it's not about always being right. That's not the goal. It's about trusting that you'll be okay even when you've made a mistake. That's where real confidence grows and comes. The confidence that comes after the decisions. I think that people continually think confidence is something that shows up before the action. And in my life, all of the decisions that have been the hard ones, the big ones, I haven't been confident in before making them. It's the confidence in making them that follows, right? About riding the right? You didn't become confident and then ride. You rode and you wobbled and you learned and you adjusted and you balanced. And the confidence developed. So each time we make those big decisions in our life, we get a little bit more confident. That's why there is something to be said about aging. There's something to be said about all of these experiences. It's giving us more. Meanwhile, confidence is something that is waiting for our momentum. It didn't happen in my 20s when I chose my college of education. I made the choice and then I second guessed myself, and it ended up being what everybody said was going to be wrong for me was actually a phenomenal experience. And then I made another choice during my occupation. We've had some, but during corporate time, and I made a choice, a move to another state and elevated my positioning. And it wasn't a great choice. And everybody told me, oh, I don't know if that's the best choice for you. You really should stay. However, in the misalignment of the job, I learned so much about myself. So it was a personal growth experience that I wouldn't have gotten without that choice. So I've experienced seasons, just as everybody else has, where other people tell you what to do. What I really realized is that the answer wasn't what was important. It was the action, because the answers are uncomfortable. And I know this even now when I make choices. Oftentimes they're uncomfortable. But what I've done is I've learned to balance the choices, the opportunities with my own inner wisdom, with my own knowing. And don't want, I didn't want the responsibility that came from that knowing. But now I claim that responsibility, and you have a choice. You can honor it or you can ignore it. When you start embracing the self trust and claiming, gives you confidence, that the inner wisdom, the compass is working for you and your highest. And yes, you're going to, I honestly hope that you'll make mistakes throughout your life, because that means you're still growing, and we grow till our last breath. However, the confidence gives you more potential possibility in your life. It allows you to be more creative and curious, and it allows that joy of purpose to arise. And when that rises, you become more confident. And so you start attracting all of these wonderful opportunities to yourself. And the self trust grows. So, if you're interested in these reflections on self trust and purpose, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss another future Mug Musing. But I want you to think about a decision you've wrestled with. Could be one that's far away or one that was just yesterday on what to eat. But if fear wasn't making the decision, what would you choose? If you trusted yourself completely, what would you know? Don't force the answer. Just listen. See, feel what emerges. Because often your wisdom speaks very quiet, and it usually speaks before your fear stops talking. That's important. Your wisdom speaks softly and speaks before your fear stops talking. So maybe second guessing isn't a sign that you're broken. Maybe it's a sign that you can disconnect from your own self trust. And maybe it's an invitation to not gather more opinions, but to strengthen the relationship with who you are. Because remember, wisdom doesn't exist outside of you, right? Wisdom is meant to be learned, and you're meant to live it. So until next time, keep smiling, keep reflecting, and as always, make sure you mug on.